Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be talking about Soldier 76, a specific hero in the Overwatch game. And the reason why I want to talk about this guy is because he's one of the best characters, I believe, to start playing the game, especially if you're familiar with other games like Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo. He is going to be right up your alley. He's going to be an easy transition, and he's also an incredibly good character. Now, I'm not saying he's going to hold up in the most competitive game ever. He might. I'm certainly not at that level of play yet. But for casual play, where you just end up on random teams with random players, he is an amazing character that can adapt to just about any situation. Now, the thing I like about Soldier 76 is that he's consistent. He does good medium range damage. He does pretty decent close range damage. He's got a nice little rocket launcher for taking care of snipers off in the distance or even blasting people in close quarters. But he doesn't have a lot of burst damage, and that's to kind of balance out his character. He has great damage output over time, but if people are charging you and just rushing your position, he can't necessarily put a ton of damage output there to deal with multiple threats at a time. Some characters have great explosive devices or just crazy supers that they can activate, and those will just wreck tons of people. This is not a character that can do that. He's just a good, solid, consistent player that probably won't get too many plays of the game, but I can see him being a consistent MVP. Now, his abilities are pretty basic. Holding left shift will allow him to sprint. You can't shoot while sprinting. It's very similar to pretty much any other tactical shooter out there. And then if you right click, you will actually shoot a rocket from his gun, and that has a 8-second recharge timer on it. I think the rocket has a small amount of splash damage, but it's really most effective to try and straight shot your opponent. It can be very good for dealing with snipers that aren't expecting it to be coming their way. I'll pre-fire a lot of corners that people consistently peek, like Widowmaker or Hanzo. I can often get them at a range with it and then finish them off with a few shots if that one shot doesn't deal with them. It's also good for dealing with targets that are rushing you and you don't have quite enough damage output to kill them quickly enough. You can shoot them right in the face or shoot at the ground. Sometimes if it's a really fat tank, you can just shoot right at their face and it will deal massive damage, allowing you to hopefully take them on solo. His E ability is incredibly good, and he plants down a biotic shield which recharges your health over time. Think of a med pack from Battlefield 4. This has a 15-second cooldown, and I use it all the time to stay alive, and it's how I go on long kill streaks with Soldier 76. This biotic field can also heal your teammates, making him a great support player that can also dish out decent damage. I love using him in combination with somebody like a Reinhardt, because you can shoot through the shield, you can deal with people in close quarters when they come up to you, and then you can also heal yourself and Reinhardt. Now, his ultimate ability is a tactical visor. It's not necessarily the most damaging ultimate in the game, but it can be used against just about any target. A long-range target, a fast-moving target, an airborne target. It will automatically lock on and target them so that all of your bullets hit. So you'll still be doing the same amount of damage that you do with your normal assault rifle, but it'll be as if you had an aimbot or you don't miss a single shot. This can even be used for taking down tanks, but ultimately I think you'll want to use it against squishier targets. Now, as I mentioned, 76 is a very versatile character, but he's also a great counter to specific characters like Pharah, who is a very, very popular character, especially on offensive charges for just getting the upper hand, raining down rockets from above. He's one of the few characters that has a hit scan weapon that can shoot into the air with fully automatic fire and hit her out of the sky. She doesn't have a lot of health, so he's a great way to sort of counter her in-air rocket abilities. Granted, she has a very good chance of taking you out as well, so it's kind of an even matchup, but a lot of people can't deal with Pharah. He is one of the characters that certainly can. Now, because 76 doesn't really have any special movement abilities, he can't get to any of the sniper perches or flank around on any of the secret passageways. He mostly just has to stay down right in the middle of the fray, which is honestly where he does the best. I mean, he's got to be able to heal teammates, and he can always put out that consistent damage as long as he's in the action. The interesting thing about Soldier 76 is that I wouldn't say he's a hard counter to any one class. He can definitely deal with Pharah pretty well, but he's not necessarily the only character that can deal with her, or necessarily the best character for dealing with her. He's just kind of a good all-around character, and if you're not sure what you want to run with, or your team seems pretty well balanced, he's somebody that you can run with and then decide if you want to keep going with him for the rest of the round or switch it up. Sometimes he's a character that I switch to also if I really really don't know what kind of strategy to bring to my team and I'm just not happy with the character I'm playing, or I'm getting wrecked as the character I'm playing, I'll switch to Soldier 76 and see how I do then. And he usually gives me a better idea of how well the enemy team is actually holding up, or if they've just been countering whatever character that I've been playing with really well, because he's again a very good all-around character, and it will let me know if they're killing me from range, they're killing me from close quarters, if they have too much tank support. Whereas playing other characters that are a little bit more specialized, you might have a harder time figuring out the balance of your opposition. Now he has the standard 200 health, so you don't want to just go charging into combat expecting to be able to absorb any damage that comes your way. You want to make sure that you have some cover to run behind and plop down some heals, or a Reinhardt nearby to give you some cover so that you can plop down those heals and just keep your health up consistently. He's not a tank, but he can keep his health going. You can also plop down the healer mid-combat, which will allow him to tank some extra damage, and it's certainly a good way to play him defensively. Now here we are right in the middle of my 17 kill streak with this character. My team is aggressively pushing on to the point, which is sometimes a good thing to do. I start taking a lot of damage right at the start. I probably could have hung out behind Reinhardt, but I'm hitting these guys from a different angle that they weren't expecting here. So it's always good to engage your opponents from different angles, especially if they have their own Reinhardt, which can block all damage coming from one angle entirely. So they managed to clear the point a bit there, but I'm still here. Activate my super and take out the last guy on the point there, push onto it, and we managed to get the capture. And the thing about this guy's ultimate, and I know I keep calling it a super, is that you don't necessarily have to use it when you're up against a ton of players. It can be good, you can usually take down 2 characters with it, but you have to kind of know your situation, and right there I just felt like if I killed that guy there, I could get on the point and we could capture most of it before the enemy team was able to reinforce. So I sort of played that route there. It might have been more useful when their entire team came back, but I might have not been able to defeat that character without the use of my ultimate. And really there's 2 kind of philosophies about how you want to use your ultimates, and it's either in key situations where your push is most critical to try and get onto a point or defend against a really strong push from the enemy, or you want to use it frequently so you can make the best use of it throughout the round. For example, his ultimate's really good at getting kind of a guaranteed 1 or even 2 kills, which is a great way to divide up the enemy team. If you sort of separate all 6 players and you kind of keep them coming in waves of like 3, then they're never at their strongest. So ultimates that just take out a few characters at once are very good at doing that, and it can be a good thing to do even when it's not necessarily a super key situation, but more of a situation of just consistently killing the enemy team to keep them disjointed and not working together. And throughout this round, we have great teamwork from Reinhardt and Lucio, who is an awesome healer and combat. He's basically a combat medic, and he can make everybody around him either heal over time, or he can make them really fast. I would love to play around with the idea of running 2 Lucios, 1 set for speed, 1 set for health, and just watching everybody run around really fast and healing. That could be a very dangerous combination. And it's really fun to do some theory crafting with this game based on team setups, because you have 6 players and they can combo off of each other really well. So if you can control exactly what your team loadout is, I'm sure you can come up with some really crazy combinations that could be absolutely devastating. Anyway, I'm really enjoying Soldier 76. He's probably one of my best characters right now. He's probably also one of the easiest characters to get into play. So I would recommend starting off with him if you get into the Overwatch beta, and then progressing from there. Anyways, thanks for watching. Still enjoying the Overwatch beta immensely, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.